Oh, who lives in a pineapple under the sea?
SpongeBob SquarePants!
Absorbent and yellow and porous is he.
SpongeBob SquarePants!
If nautical nonsense be something you wish.
Learning outcomes. At the end of the chapter, the student should be able to explain the meaning of assessing learning outcomes in the affective domain. Discuss soft skills in relation to assessment in the affective domain. Cite the methods and tools for assessing learning in the affective domain and develop assessment tools to measure learning in the affective domain. In this chapter, we shall be concerned with the affective domain for a balanced education. Let us not pay attention only to the development of the mind, cognitive, and the hands, physical skills. Let us also give attention to the development of the heart, which is the affective. In the Bloom's taxonomy, 3 domains of learning were identified: cognitive, psychomotor, and affective domains. The cognitive domain includes mental skills, knowledge. The affective domain dwells on growth in feelings or emotional areas like feelings, emotions, attitude, while the psychomotor domain is concerned with manual or physical skills. In short, the 3 domains of learning are KSA, meaning, knowledge, skills, and attitude. Soft skills and affective assessment. Learning outcomes in the affective domain include soft skills in contrast to the hard skills or technical skills. Soft skills are non-technical skills that refer to how one works in the workplace, how one interacts with others in the workplace, and how one looks at problems and solves problems. Indeed, learning is not only a cognitive process, it is also an emotional process. Research shows that SEL or SEL not only improves achievement by an average of 11 percentile points, but it has also increases pro-social behaviors such as kindness, sharing, and empathy, improves students' attitude towards school, and reduces depression and stress among students. The 5 key skills of SEL or SEL, namely self-awareness, self-management, social awareness, relationship skills, and responsible decision making, are in the affective domain, and so are the concern of assessment in the affective domain. We have heard people say, she is schooled but not educated. This statement points to the fact much of what has happened in the education process was focused on the cognitive development. Today, however, we talk about whole child approach, social and emotional learning or SEL, emotional intelligence, quotients, EQ, positive discipline, and growth mindset, which deliver the same basic message, the equally important affective function of the education. Categories of soft skills. The 5 key skills of SEL or SEL can be grouped into 4 categories. The most school leaders, teachers, and parents would agree are within the responsibility of schools to monitor and develop. These are 1. The social, 2. Self-management skills, 3. Academic soft skills, and lastly, the approaches to learning. First, we have the social skills. When we say social skills, it includes how a student interacts with other students as observed by teachers and other adults, while the self-management refers to self-regulation. Example, the student's ability to take control over what would otherwise be automatic reactions by planning, focusing, attention, reframing experiences, and using mental tools. Lack of self management is manifested when a student bursts out responses which suggest a lack of thoughtfulness. The third category is the academic soft skills, are both social and cognitive. Their defining feature is their auxiliary role in carrying out traditional academic tasks, example, the ability to work independently. Finally, we have the category of the approaches to learning. In this category includes such things as the student's engagement in school, pleasure in learning, and anxiety about the performance.
Good morning, everyone. I am Charlene Joyce Pidea, and I am the next reporter. My report today is all about taxonomy of educational objectives. The taxonomy in the affective domain contains a large number of objectives in the literature expressed as interest, attitudes, appreciations, values, and emotional sets or biases. So there are 5 affective domain which are receiving, responding, valuing, organization, and characterization. Receiving is being aware of attending to something in the environment. So example of this, individual would read a book passage about civil rights. It involves a no action. Next is responding, showing some new behavior as a result of experience. Its example, individual would answer questions about the book, read another book, the same author, another book about civil rights, and etc. It involves a active participation. Next is valuing. Valuing, showing some definite involvement or commitment. Examples, the individual might demonstrate this by voluntarily attending a lecture on civil rights. Next is organization. Organization integrating a new value into one's general set of values, giving it some ranking among one's general priorities. Examples, the individual might arrange a civil rights rally. It involves beginning to be a part of life. Next is characterizations. Characterization, acting consistently with a new value. Example, the individual is firmly committed to the value, perhaps becoming a civil rights leader. Next is method of assessing learning in the affective domain. Change in attitudes, values, and habits in the end result of effective teaching learning in the affective domain. Change in attitude is manifested in our change of beliefs, feelings, aspirations, and attitudes towards something or someone. These changes in our beliefs and values in turn have an impact on our level of motivation and concept of self-efficacy. The student himself or herself knows the changes that are taking place or can be observed by a third party who is a witness of the change like the teacher or parents or classmates. Thus, a popular method of assessing learning in the affective domain is observation. Has a student imbibed the value of punctuality? One way to know is to observe if he or she comes to school on time. Another way is to observe if he or she submits subject requirements on time or for his or her appointments arrive on time. According to Macmillan 2007, gives 3 feasible methods of assessing learning or learners' development in the affective domain. The first in the list is teacher observation. The 2 others are student self-report or peer ratings. These methods of assessing learning in the affective domain make use of tools such like Likert scale, semantic differential, checklist, sentence completion. This will be discussed after these methods of affective assessment.
Good day, everyone. I am Alexandro Deposa. Today, we're going to discuss about teacher observation. Teacher observation is a systematic process of watching and evaluating a teacher's instructional practices in a classroom setting. It means that we teacher should facilitate students learning, should uplift student when it comes to their learning. And that's the role of a teacher, to observe them to their learning. The next one is self-report. Self-report is a method of gathering data where individuals provide information about themselves, their thoughts, feelings, behavior, and experiences. In other words, self-report, it is all about self to gather. It means all the information must be gathered about yourself, your learnings, etc. And lastly, peer ratings. Peer ratings are assessment of an individual's performance, contribution, and abilities provided by their colleague. It is to provide a multifaceted and comprehensive assessment of an individual's performance and capabilities, and offering a broader understanding. It means a wider understanding of their strengths and weaknesses. Peer ratings aims to improve performance, collaboration, enhance teamwork, and foster professional development. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. Today I will explain to you what is effective assessment tools. The different methods of assessing learning or development in effective domain, namely observation, student reflection, and peer rating, make use of assessment tools such as Likert scale, semantic differential, checklist, sentence completion, and students' written reflection. So, first, let's start about what is Likert scale. A Likert scale is one of example of rating scale. It makes use of 5-point scale from strongly disagree, disagree, undecided, agree, strongly agree. Below is the Likert scale used to assess student attitude toward teaching as a profession to determine such each student attitude toward teaching after a lesson and teaching as a profession. So now let's talk about the sentence completion. As a name implies, the student is asked to complete given incomplete sentence related to the intended learning outcome. This method is based on the idea that sentence completion will reveal more about thoughts, fantasies, emotional conflicts than testing with a direct question. So, for example, if the intended learning outcome for a lesson and assessment is to demonstrate a positive attitude toward assessment, this may be given for each student to complete. Assessment is, in my own opinion, I assume from my point of view. Okay, next we are going to talk about the semantic differential. A student is asked to assess his science class as a whole by way of semantic differential scale, as shown below. The scale are pairs of objective on feelings or beliefs that are positive. So, in semantic differential, there are two categories, which is the positive and the negative. For example, learning math is exciting. And the negative one is the learning math is boring. Next is we are going to talk about what is checklist. So in a checklist, as a name implies, the student simply checks an item that is observed or present or possessed or that applies to him or her. A student is asked to evaluate the extent to which he or she possess growth mindset. For example, I believe that intelligence can be developed, and I do not easily give up. I accept criticism. The item which applies to the students or which applies to you. Next is the student's reflection. In using this measurement tool, the teacher asks the student, for example, to write their personal thoughts and feelings on a subject or topic given by the teacher, like why I like or dislike mathematics. A reflection paper allows students to take a personal approach and express their thoughts on a given topic. That's all, and thank you.